SEL Assessment Action Plan by Allison Bancroft. We're going to start by watching this video from New Bedford Public School District on their plan for improvement.
Every student deserves a quality education. That was the message from New Bedford Mayor John Mitchell today. The city announced its public school strategic plan for the years ahead. Eyewitness News reporter Brendan Truitt joins us with the changes parents and students can expect to see.
Right out of the gate, the message was clear. This new plan is about getting public schools in New Bedford on the right track.
And everything ties back to the student in the classroom to make sure the teaching and learning process is at its height all the time.
For New Bedford Public School Superintendent Thomas Anderson, this was about looking in the mirror.
We needed to revise our district goals and our plan.
It can be hard to do, looking inwardly, finding what's wrong, what's falling short, but that's exactly what they did.
We were able to finally put a document together, and that's what we wanted to be able to take the opportunity to unveil it, creating something that people will actually read.
Over the past year, members of the school board, parents, teachers, even the students themselves meeting to discuss what needs fixing. Anderson says groups met focusing on specific issues, instruction, student support systems, even building public confidence was a focus point.
In order to elevate the entire community, no matter where we are, we have to have a vibrant, transparent educational system, educational process.
This plan gets the school system through the next several years. Parents can expect more streamlined communication from teachers. Students should expect a greater focus on attendance, particularly in middle school where the numbers are low.
When we talk about equity, but we need to equip people with the tools to identify when things are not equitable so we can make sure that we are cultivating individuals that are critical thinkers that can move it forward.
In 2011, New Bedford Public Schools were just moments away from a state takeover. Since then, they have been working to avoid that. This plan, just the latest in an effort to increase the quality of education. Brandon.
So within this district strategic overview, New Bedford has 5 goals: high quality instruction, student support systems, community engagement, team excellence, and public pride and confidence. Within this, we find one particular goal: establish a SEL curriculum committee to identify SEL curriculum and a rollout plan. This goal is the only one correlated with SEL in the plan, so we're going to dive a little bit deeper on how we can create an action plan to bring SEL assessment into the New Bedford public school system. So what is SEL? SEL is social and emotional learning, the process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions, and achieve personal and collective goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain supportive relationships, and make responsible and caring decisions. There are 5 core competencies within SEL: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. When creating an action plan, one of the first steps that we want to take is to create a representative SEL team to lead the implementation. This team is going to be important because they're going to turn the excitement into action, and they're going to turn that action into outcomes. They're going to help get buy-in from the stakeholders and others in the school system. They're going to be able to communicate information related to school-wide SEL. They're going to engage and partner with the school community to implement school-wide SEL, encourage a sense of shared ownership, model social and emotional competencies in their work, and help set goals and monitor and engage the ongoing reflection around the implementation for this SEL program. Here you can click to access CASEL's school-wide SEL with the entire action plan that CASEL provides. The next step for assessing SEL is to make sure that we have a positive learning environment. There are 3 key factors in a positive learning environment. The first one is engagement, making sure there are strong relationships exist between teachers and students, among teachers, and between teachers and administrators. Ensuring safety, that students are safe from bullying and violence, and they feel emotionally and academically safe to take risks in the classroom. And lastly, just the environment is well managed in the school and classrooms fulfill students' basic needs of autonomy, competence, and connectedness. There's a few purposes of assessment. The three most important ones are information, communication, and accountability. Assessments are able to provide information by data collection, and those will help make well informed decisions. They inform policies and practices for change, show effectiveness of policy or practice, improve performance or practice by providing feedback, and identify needs and guide intervention and provide instruction. They are also helpful with communication. They're able to provide support and evidence to communicate with stakeholders and provide information or explanation to communicate with those stakeholders as well. And lastly, assessment can help provide accountability. This one, we want to make sure that we're selecting our assessment based on the needs. So, providing accountability of information to stakeholders or accountability for just general improvement. Implementation readiness plays an important part when looking at implementing SEL assessment. The first step we want to take is making sure that the motivation to implement something new is there, which in this case, we can see that New Bedford Public Schools are working hard on improving their overall outcomes. So that motivation is there to want to improve and be better. The second step is the general capacities of an organization to support implementation. And the third is the specific capacities that are needed for this particular innovation. Looking at the New Bedford Public Schools, we can see that they do have the capacities to implement this. So we want to start by creating that SEL team, looking and designated who is going to be the ones implementing and following through with this. So why do we assess SEL? Why is it important and who is it going to benefit? First of all, we want to assess SEL because we want to communicate SEL as a priority. SEL in the classroom is important for all students and educators in improving themselves. It helps establish that common language for SEL. So across the board and across the district, we know what we are looking at when it comes to SEL. It helps deepen the understanding of how SEL competencies manifest in our students over time. It continuously improves the SEL instruction and implementation and evaluating the effectiveness of SEL programming and approaches. And lastly, it supports that equitable outcome in education overall, which we want to see in that strategic plan. So we've looked at the steps up to this far of how we can implement an SEL assessment plan. But now how are we going to actually assess those SEL competencies? The first one is step 1, prepare the overall SEL effort. Step 2, plan the role of the assessment. Step 3, choose the SEL competencies to assess. We're then going to select, so step 4, review the assessment options, and step 5, select the appropriate assessment tool. Lastly, we are going to implement the assessment and then use the data to make informed decisions on educational goals, policies, and changes. We want to make sure that we are embedding SEL into all areas. So this is within classroom instruction, school-wide culture, school leadership, and community engagement. You can click the link below. This brings you to a social emotional action support plan rubric that breaks down each of these areas and the importance to look at SEL in each of them. Lastly, there are many resources out there, so we want to make sure that we are selecting the correct assessment for our learners. The links provided here will bring you to various resources to research different types of assessments and how they can be useful in various settings.